Namaste. Namaste and welcome to this short practice. This is a chair-supported practice, but it's perfectly appropriate for any mat yogis who just want to do something without having to get your mat out. So this practice is a take anywhere practice. As long as you've got the support of a chair or a wall, then you'll be absolutely fine. And we're going to start today by just standing with the feet nice and wide apart, a little soft in the knees, and do some Kati Chakrasana. So a little firm in the belly to find some lift, and then gently twisting from side to side. And as you do this, remember it's an opportunity to move in a way that we don't move in generally in our lives. We don't often do this sort of loose twisting. And to release tension from parts of the body that spend a lot of time contracting to support us. So we want to find that lift in the center of the body, but loose across the shoulders, the chest, the arms, the fingers and hands, and perhaps a little soft across the knees as well. In the back of your body, be aware of that shape of the back of the body, either side of the spine. As we twist, one side lengthens, one side contracts. If it feels comfortable, you can pivot on your feet so that you twist a little bit more with the hips. It becomes a bit of a freer movement, in my opinion. But again, we want that strong center and a loose grace to the extremities, wrapping the arms around the body, tapping the body where they fall. If it feels good, you can add a soft bounce of the knees in the center of this twist. Bounce and twist, bounce and twist. Just gently adding the bounce if it feels good and leaving it out if you prefer. You can touch the opposite shoulder in front of you, the opposite hip behind you. That helps to provide a little bit more rotation in the upper body. An opportunity to release some tension from the back of the neck and shoulders, perhaps. When you're ready, you can let your bounce go and simply pivot, and then bring your feet to stillness and sway slowly back to center. As you come to center, perhaps taking an opportunity to stand in stillness, but stand tall and observe the effect of your practice. Then when you're ready, you can roll your shoulders a few times, rolling them a few times backwards and a few times forwards as well. Very good. So here we can start with the top of our body and work down, but we're going to come to doing some focused work on the core area as well. But to begin, we'll stand really tall. We're going to take the chin towards the chest and then roll the right ear towards the right shoulder, maybe even turn the chin up just a touch, and then chin back towards the chest and left ear to left shoulder. We're beginning to find our way into this movement, so we don't need to strive for the absolute end of our range of movement initially. We're just moving gently wherever gravity takes the chin forwards and wherever the shoulders allow the head to go to the side. Try to keep your shoulders quite passive here. We don't want the shoulders to hunch up or to join in or to lift on one side. And then if it feels comfortable and you'd like to, you can roll in complete circles, lifting your chin rather than taking your head behind the body. If circling doesn't suit you, please just stay rolling side to side, or if you prefer, doing other neck movements of your choice. The next time your chin comes to your chest, just resting there for a moment. Taking a deep breath in and sighing out, and then rolling the opposite way. Nice and slow and steady. That gives us the opportunity to feel the connections in the body. Feel how the different structures work together. What switches on to support, what lengthens, what relaxes. And the next time your chin comes towards your chest, just pausing there, taking a gentle smile, a deep breath in, sighing out, and then lifting your head back to upright. We're just going to roll the shoulders a couple more times, maybe get a little bit more action in with the elbows this time. So see if you can bring the elbows towards each other and then take them behind the body. So we're making really nice big circles with the elbows. We can go the opposite way after this one. It's going the opposite way. It's the elbows making the movement. Got that lovely articulation through the back and the chest. You can feel the muscles working there. And then if you'd like to, you can do this with your whole arm. So I'm going to step a bit further back still. So your arm doesn't need to be rigidly straight, so you can keep your elbows a little bit bent if you like, but you can move your whole arms, both arms at the same time, crossing them in front of the body, maybe lifting the chin, drawing them down the side of the body, maybe rounding through the spine as they cross again in front of the body. So it becomes a movement of the spine as well. If you're very fancy, you can alternate the cross of your wrists, left on top of right and then right on top of left. You don't have to do that. It's just a nice thing to do if you get the opportunity and if you can concentrate that much. Let's do one more in this direction. And finish with the arms down by the side and this feeling of length and openness in the front of the body. And relax. Very good. We're going to shrug the shoulders up towards the ears, hold them briefly there, and then really slowly allow the shoulders to come down to the sides of the body. And then once they reach their neutral spot, press the palms down to the floor and at the same time lengthen the crown of the head up, creating a bit of length down the sides of the neck there, and then slowly release back to center. Let's do that one more time. Shrug your shoulders up, hold them up, and then slowly release them down. And then when they're back at their neutral spot, press your palms to the floor and lengthen the crown of the head up. And then slowly release back to normal. Very good. Give your shoulders a little wiggle. Smashing stuff. So we can take our chairs now. We haven't used them yet, but we're just about to. So standing with your chair on your right-hand side, we're going to take our feet a reasonable distance apart. So the more narrow the feet, this changes the action that we're doing, but it also makes it very much more challenging to stay steady on your feet. And because we are moving our bodies around whilst keeping the feet on the floor, we want to have a reasonable base so that we feel that confidence to move, because that's where we get the good stuff, when we feel confident and strong in our foundations. So standing nice and tall, we've got a nice light touch with the chair here, active engagement through the belly muscles. You're going to reach the left arm out to the left side, and then just gently reach over towards the chair to that right side of the body. And then we're going to come back to the center and reach over again. And then here, what we really want to do is begin to develop that side bend. So we get a little bit more into the side bend, perhaps with every opportunity. And we're just beginning to maybe soften the knees a little bit, keep that center nice and firm. Reach the arm over. This time we're going to hold our side bend and reach the left fingertips as far away from the left side of the foot as we can. And maybe gently turn the chin upwards, the chest upwards. Maybe turn the chin downwards and the chest downwards. So we're in a side bend, but we're wriggling this sort of spiral rotation through the left-hand side of the body. And you can really feel that massaging effect that movement in this area has. Let's do one more. And coming forward, we reach the left arm across the body and down to stand upright. Release the chair with the right hand and just feel the difference between the two sides of the body. It's fantastic. I'm going to do the other side here with the wall instead of with a chair because it's on the wrong side. But you can swap to the other side of your chair if you like. So we're standing tall. The left hand is now on support, wall or chair, and we want to feel that lift in the center. We're reaching the right arm up and over to the left. Coming back to the center, maybe even having a little slight bend to the right, because that helps us to actually create a little bit more length as we move to the left, would you believe? So reaching over, perhaps getting a little bit deeper into that side bend every time, a little soft in the knees, really firm in the center. Very good. I'm assuming it's very good. I have every confidence. This time as we reach over, we're going to hang out in that side bend, and then here, maybe just roll the right side of the chest up, looking up slightly, roll the right side of the chest down, looking down slightly. So we're still strong in the center and the legs, a little soft in the knees, but we've got this spiraling side bend. Opening and closing. And we want to be aware of how that massages into the structures across the upper back. We'll do maybe one more. As you come forward this time, relax your right arm across the body and then come to standing tall again. Wriggle anything that needs wriggling, perhaps giving yourself a little open across the chest. Awesome stuff. So we've done great side bends. We're beginning to move in the torso. We've done quite a lot of backwards and forwards. We need to do a little bit of pronounced twisting. Pronounced twisting? Yes, absolutely. And my favorite way to twist is actually to face your chair, hold on or keep the hands where they are, and then move your feet, in this case, to the left. So moving the feet to the left, they can be as wide apart as feels comfortable, and at the same time, have a sensation of trying to draw your chest around, back around to the chair. So we want to, it's very common for people to lean forward here. We want to stand tall, and in fact, a wall is even better than a chair for this. Shoulders are down, turning your head back the way you came. So turning your head to the right shoulder, feet towards the left side, a little firm across the belly, soft in the elbows and the shoulders. Take a little smile and a few deep breaths. And then when you're ready, you can gently unwind yourself. So feet come back round so that you end up facing your chair. And we were going to take the opportunity to do a forward bend here as well. So a chair down dog. Hands on the chair, walking your feet away from you. We want the feet to be underneath the hips to begin with. And then we're going to lengthen the tailbone backwards so the hips end up behind the feet. The torso, your body coming towards parallel with the floor, and pressing your hands into the chair. So we're not super relaxed here. We're pressing your hands into the chair, lengthening the tailbone away, lifting in the belly. And here with soft knees, maybe gently swaying the hips from side to side. It's a really nice thing to do. You can also turn your head from side to side at the same time if you like. If you don't like to sway your hips, you can simply keep your knees bent. Whenever you're ready to come up, you just press into the hands a little deeper, walk yourself into your seat and end up standing upright. But if you feel at all dizzy, you've got that support of holding on to something. All good. Roll shoulders if they need rolling, and then we can do our twist to the opposite side. So we start facing the chair and holding on to the chair, trying to keep the connection with the chair into the shoulders as well. And then we walk the feet as far around to the right as feels comfortable. You can let your shoulders come with you initially, but then use that hold on the chair to bring your shoulders a little bit back round to the left. We want to allow the shoulders and the elbows to be softening down, little lift in the belly, maybe turn your head a little towards the left as well. It might be that that doesn't suit your neck and you can keep your head more neutral, or you can even allow your head to follow your feet, but your shoulders to resist, and then you get a twist in 2 different parts of the spine. How exciting. So here we're standing tall, a little firm in the belly, and then gently deep breathing. It should feel like you have to make enough effort to stay there, but not so much that it strains or hurts anywhere. And then when you're ready to come out, you simply turn your feet back the way you came. Nice, gentle stepping movement. Come back to center. Oh, maybe feels like a nice little wriggle that you need to do there. And then we can use the chair to do another downward facing dog. So taking the feet back, lengthening the tailbone. So the knees are nice and soft here because the point in down dog is actually not to create length in the back of the legs, but to create length in the back of the body, the torso, across the low back, across the buttocks a little bit perhaps. And then if you want to, you can lengthen one leg and then the other. And it has this sort of almost like you're swimming front crawl action across the body. You might turn your head to one side and then the other. You might feel one shoulder dipping and then the other, nice and firm in the belly. You don't have to do that. You can make it much smaller. You can keep it to just the legs if it feels good. Whenever you're ready, you can press into your hands and walk your feet forward so you come into an upright position. Give yourself a moment, hold on to your chair if that feels like the right thing to do, or simply give yourself some space in which to stand and feel the effects of your practice. Awesome sauce. Aces. So we have been working our way slowly down. We're going to come to doing a little bit of work on the legs, but as we do that, I'm going to actually start at the feet and come back towards the hips. So using your chair for support or a wall or whatever you like, you can do this freestanding if you feel confident to do that, but don't ever take the risk of falling. If you've got support close to hand, you can do it freestanding and always use your supports if you need to. So feet underneath the hips, we're looking forward. We want to find that length in the front of the body and a point of focus that's not moving, just ahead of us. So resting your gaze ahead, fingertip touch on the chair, and stronger hold if you need it, lifting in the belly, and we're going to come up onto the tiptoes, and then we're going to release the heels down slowly towards the floor. So we're coming up onto tiptoes, and then releasing heels slowly down towards the floor. And as you come up onto your tiptoes, you might look to see that your ankles are over your feet. My left ankle likes to fall out to the side a little bit. But to do that, we need to have even weight across the balls of the foot and the big toe part of the ball of the foot and the little toe part of the ball of the foot. So be aware of that. Be aware of where your weight is. And we want to make this really, really graceful. That's the word. When you've done a few of those, just take your opportunity to bend your knees a few times, release the calves. Perhaps you might hold onto your chair and give your legs a little bit of a shake side to side. And then we're going to do a little padding. So we're going to come onto the ball of the left foot first, so the heel is nice and lifted, and then firm in the center, fingertip touch, float both heels off the floor, and then take the left heel down, leaving the right heel up. So we're just floating up and down. Try to come up as high onto your tiptoes as feels comfortable, without strain, without causing any problems or any discomfort that wasn't there before practice. So a little bit side to side. Try to avoid swinging your hips as you go. It's not quite so helpful. We're trying to keep really nice and centered here as we go up and down, up and down. And holding on if you'd like to, experimenting with not holding on if you prefer, using a point of focus ahead of you, giving that little lift in the center of the body, that little lift in the chest as well. Let's do one more to each side. And we're going to finish with both heels up and then float both heels down. Soften your knees, give your legs a little bit of a shake out, and just notice how it feels in the legs. Do they feel like they're becoming energized? Are there parts of the legs that feel like perhaps they haven't been used as much as they might like to be? And you can feel the effect of that. Maybe, who knows? And then here we're going to take the opportunity to do this with one leg. So if this isn't going to suit you, if you know for sure, then you can do the same practice that we've just done and just keep going with that instead. We can take a rest, have a seat. That's what the chair's for, yes? So this time we're going to come up onto both tiptoes, and then we're going to take the weight onto the right leg and simply bend the left knee to lift the left foot behind us. We're nice and firm in the center, looking at our point of focus, dropping the shoulders down, and then we're going to lower the right heel towards the floor and lift the right heel up. Lower the right heel down and lift the right heel up. These are much more intense. Let's just do one more. And then we're going to put both feet down, take the weight onto the left leg, lift the right, bend the right knee to lift the right foot, and then lower the left heel down and lift the left heel up. Point of focus and lifting in your center. Lower and lift, and then one more, lower and lift. When you're ready, put both feet down and lower both heels down. Give your knees a little bit of a bend, and then shake out your legs. Very good. Smashing stuff. So the one-legged heel raises are much more intense than both. That's great. If you can manage both easily and you want to work towards more strength, then do them single. If not, doing both at the same time will get you there. You just need to do a few more and do it more often. Okay? Smashing. Okay, so we are going to do now a little stretch for the calf that we have been using. So we're going to begin by stepping forward with the left foot all the way towards the chair, and then see how far back you can put your right foot. Use your chair to place your feet, and make sure as you place them, they're still hip width apart. You haven't put one behind the other, because that makes it really hard to, what's the word? Balance. That's the word. And then here we can bend the front knee, which is the left knee, keeping lift in the body and the belly, opening the shoulders. And we just want to maybe soften that right knee and then stretch it again a few times. Maybe lift the heel and lower it a few times, which helps to put the calf into a slightly stretched, slightly contracted, really nice way to release tension if you've got it there. Very good. Holding this position of the legs with the heels on the floor, we're going to leave the right hand on the chair, lift the left arm forward and up, and then around the body in a big circle, pressing effort into the feet, using the belly muscles, and we'll do two more like this. Big circle, lifting the arm up and over and around. If your circle goes more out to the side, then that's fine too. Very good. And then from here, we're just going to come onto the ball of the right foot again. Nice soft knees to gently step the right foot forward. March in place a couple of times, just getting some wiggle through the hips if needed. And then step forward with the right foot, back with the left foot as far as you can go, but making sure it feels comfortable and you're hip width apart. And then lifting in the torso, bending in the right knee. And here you might like to soften that left knee and then lengthen again, soften and then lengthen, and then lifting the left heel and lowering the left heel slowly down, keeping the right knee bent. So we want to keep that sense of slowly contracting, slowly lengthening those muscles that have been used. When you're ready, releasing both heels to the floor, keeping that upward lift and the belly muscles and the legs working. Right, left hand on the chair, and right hand draws a nice big circle around the body. Very good. Nice big circle around the body, twisting through the torso if possible as well, just feeling your body follow the movement in whichever way feels good. A little action in the buttocks and the legs. And then when you're ready to release, just softening both knees and gently stepping the left foot forward or the right foot backwards if you prefer. A little march in place. Very nice. We can shake out the legs a bit. Super stuff. And to release, sometimes we do this as a warm-up, but today we're going to do it as a little release. We're going to swing the legs. So it doesn't matter which side you've got your support. You might be able to set yourself up between a wall and a chair, or two chairs if you like. Take your weight onto your left foot first, and then just swinging your right leg backwards and forwards. And here, if you want to, you can point the toes forwards and flex the heels backwards, trying to keep a nice lift through the body. So we don't want to fling ourselves around on this standing hip. We want to be nice and upright. This is the hip that's moving. This is the hip that's stabilizing. Nice strength. Wonderful stuff. Dancers do this all the time, especially if they've got niggly hips. So it's a really nice way to provide a bit of traction on the joint as well. And then when you're ready, you can bring your feet together, stand onto both feet, and just feel the difference between the two sides. This left-hand side that was standing will have been working and working quite hard. This right-hand side will feel nice and loose and released. Same thing on the other side. We take the weight onto the right foot, stand really tall, firm across the belly, and just begin with a gentle swing of that left leg. And it might be that you can point your toes forward and flex your heel backwards, but we want to try to avoid moving the whole body and instead just moving that left leg as we stand tall and centered. I love doing this. I do this probably every day. Probably every day. I like to do it in the kitchen when I'm boiling the kettle and things like that. Just do one side and then the other, turn around, use the kitchen counter. When you're ready, you can step onto both feet, taking note of how that feels. Maybe give your hips a little dance, maybe your shoulders a little dance as well to release. We'll come back to our first side, standing onto the left leg, standing tall. Bring the right knee up in front of you. And here we're going to make circles with that knee. So we don't need these circles to be massive. And I've got my right hip likes to clonk a little bit. So I need to make those circles small enough and slow enough that the movement is supported. When you're ready, going in the opposite direction. Very good. A little lift in the center. Try to keep the body upright so you have a lift out of that left hip as well. We'll do one more in this direction and then step onto both feet. That's a bit more intense because this moving leg has been working quite hard and this stabilizing leg now might be getting a bit tired. If you need to take a rest, have a seat, stretch in any way that feels good. If not, taking your weight onto your right foot as you right leg as you stand tall, bending the left knee in front of you, just making those nice circles. Starting small if you want to. This side enjoys a little bit more circling than the other side, I'd say for me, which is good. And then when you're ready, you can go in the opposite direction. You don't need to do many of these to make a difference. So take the opportunity when it arises. Step onto both feet. Rest your weight down into your feet. And then if you need to, give yourself a little wiggle. Give yourself a little wiggle. And we're going to finish with one downward facing dog. And then I'll leave you to do your relaxation yourself. So at your chair, walk your feet away. Nice wide feet, soft knees, lengthen your tailbone backwards. Press into your hands so you're not completely relaxed in the upper body here. Just gently swaying the hips from side to side. Maybe turning your head if it feels good. Feeling that lift in the center of the body, engaging in the belly muscles. And then when you're ready, you can hold stillness for a deep breath in and sigh out. When you're ready to come up, walk slowly towards your seat. Come up to standing. Hold on for as long as it takes for you to feel absolutely confident that you've got no dizziness before you step away. And we will finish with a cleansing breath. Breathing in, taking the arms around the body and up, and breathing out, drawing the palms down to the center of your chest. Now is the time to go and take a short lie down in the bed or a seat, listen to some music, recline in some way, relax the parts of the body that have been so active during our practice, and give yourself a little bit of opportunity to restore the energy so that you don't feel depleted. You continue with the rest of your day feeling absolutely wonderful and energized. I look forward to seeing you for another practice soon. Namaste.